Hey, we're going to talk about E3 and stop talking about swallowing food whole. It's been a weird one this year. Weirder than last year, I think. So fucking
weird. Yes and no.
Last year, we actually had E3 as a presence.
Actually.
But, well, they were there, right?
Yeah, in name.
But they were pretty defanged because basically everyone ran their own conferences instead. In the chat, Sam says E3 died of swallowing its food whole. It's a good call. So E3 wasn't here this year, but also a lot of the people who did their own conferences last year didn't do one this year.
Yes.
But also by the same token, a lot of people who did do theirs last year who didn't do one this year, like, they also didn't put their games in other people's conferences. Like, we're just missing EA. We're missing Ubisoft. Like, there's a lot of people who we just heard nothing from at this point in time.
I'm shocked we didn't see any Ubisoft at Xbox, now that I think about it.
I know.
Because
I know, right?
I assumed we were going to get, at bare minimum, the Avatar game.
Yep. I think that their Ubisoft forwards, perform well enough that they are going to just do one of those, and they just weren't ready to do it in June.
I suppose.
I think we'll get one in July or August.
Yeah, right.
And, Nintendo, they do them whenever they want to do them.
They announce them 12 hours before they do it, and then they announce another one 24 hours later.
Exactly. So, like, who knows what's going on there? But yeah, what that's meant is, we also haven't seen the likes of a Square Enix presentation. Thank God we haven't seen the likes of the Koch Media and Gearbox presentations. Thank the Lord.
Square Enix we've seen in other ways. We saw Kingdom Hearts about a month ago, and we're going to see Final Fantasy in a couple of weeks.
We also saw them at State of Play in a decent way. Yeah, so it's not like Square Enix hasn't been there. We just didn't get a Square Enix Presents.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we haven't seen Randy Pitchford. I'm so glad there wasn't a Gearbox conference.
Where's his movie?
That was such a disaster last year. Pardon?
Where's the movie? Where's the Randy movie?
I want someone to interview Kevin Hart without asking him first if they could do that. Again.
Fuck that. Maybe I'll rewatch that later.
Oh, so cringy. So what that means is, in previous years we've been like, hey, what are your best conferences? What are your worst conferences? Top 3 trailers. What we're going to do this year instead, we spoke about the best parts of PlayStation State of Play last week because that came out a bit earlier. So what that means is the only other things that Jeremy and I have really interfaced with are the Summer Game Fest presentation that happened on Friday, our time, and the Xbox and Bethesda showcase that happened a few hours ago, Monday morning.
Yep. Yep.
So we're just going to talk about those, what our impression was of each of the shows as a whole, and then what our individual highlights were from each show. And that'll be the topic, really. There were lots of smaller showcases not from publishers. Like Devolver was there, obviously. They're always there and they're always decent. But like PC Game Show showcase is happening this year. Is that still going, Jeremy?
I haven't checked. I'm assuming it's over by now. It'd be pretty.
Probably.
It'd be a long conference if it was still going.
Very long. But also, stuff like Wholesome Games Direct, the Guerrilla Collective. Like there's a bunch of stuff like that. Have you heard of OTK? Apparently that was some like collective of YouTubers and streamers who put on like a 4-hour conference and people said it rocked.
I do not know what that is at all.
No, it was like Asmongold and like a bunch of people whose names I know that are big who I have no idea who they are. Like
I sort of missed a bunch because I was like at a convention. Usually I'm at least on top of it, but like this year I was just like I can do one or the other, and this one is a little bit just more like active.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to finding some of the gems, the hidden gems there. Like, I want to play the Cult of the Lamb demo.
Oh, same, right? That looks so good.
I heard some good things about some Angry Foot game from Devolver.
That looked fucking awesome. That looked so good. I saw Ewan from Press Start play that, and it looked fucking so cool.
Yeah, right. So yeah, there's cool stuff that's been happening.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the ones that we've watched, though.
Yep.
So let's start with what came first, which was Summer Game Fest. This one was interesting. So this was 4 a.m. for us on Friday. And one of their biggest announcements was leaked about, 5-6 hours before the conference by Sony themselves.
Yes. Someone hit the publish button.
Yeah, exactly. Or they scheduled it for the wrong time on Twitter, which is a real shame. So what it was the official announcement of the Last of Us remake for the first game for PS5.
And like, look,
and it was
we knew
what
this was coming, by the way. Like,
Sure,
this was not
but
a new...
They hadn't officially spoken about it before. Like, this was the official reveal.
Sure.
So, and it was a decent sized trailer, and it was what they finished their show with, and it was completely like tanked but like it really took the wind out of the end of Summer Game Fest sales. Not that it's the biggest announcement, but
they'll be
like
fine.
It really wasn't anymore once it was leaked. Like,
I don't think that this would have been as big an announcement. Like, you know, like I don't think this one in particular. Like, it's just a remake of a game.
Sure,
it's not like it's Last of Us 3, right?
Sure, that makes sense. What was your overall impression of the show, Jeremy?
It's weird. I didn't really love it. It's kind of muted. Yeah, I don't know. I was going through the list of things just before we started recording because I needed to remember what was there and find out the stuff that I liked the most. There was a handful of things that I liked a lot, but it just wasn't that exciting.
Yeah.
And look, I knew that going into it because the moment I saw Keeley starting to try and temper expectations, I was like, oh, like he's actually not as hot on it as he usually is.
Yeah, he doesn't have Elden Ring this year.
Yeah, right. And it's like, how do you compete with that, right? He had Far Cry last year as well, like Far Cry 5, and he had an interview with Giancarlo Esposito, which was really fun. So he had some big things last year. Whereas this year he's out there before the game show saying, hey, this isn't the TGAs.
Yeah, hey, steady on, steady.
Which is also like, why is the TGA the announcement show, Jeff? It should be the awards show, Jeff. Jeff Keighley, come on MiniMapCast. No, he should. It'd be great. I'd like to talk to Jeff Keighley.
Cool.
He seems cool. Look, the show I think it was fine. It was like a solid B-, I think, if I were to grade it. Nothing extraordinary. Couple of big announcements. The Rock was there talking about Black Adam for some fucking reason.
I need to talk specifically to that Rock integration. That was bad. It should not. It actively detracted from the conference. And like the Rock he's been there for the TGAs before. Like he's been on stage to promote Jumanji, and like
he was there
a bunch of other times.
He showed off the Xbox.
Yeah, right. The Xbox 3, the original one,
the original Xbox
with Bill Gates.
With Bill Gates.
So like that's fine. He can do that, and sometimes he just does the one where he's got his phone and he's just like selfie vlogging it, and that's what he sends in, and that's what you get. Sure, but this one he sent in, and like he was like stumbling for words, and he had to mention that he was in his workout room, the Iron Paradise, sponsored by this particular energy drink, which he mentioned about 3 times.
His energy drink. He owns that company.
Oh, I thought that was some
No.
company.
He owns Zoa energy drink.
But he was like, oh, I was here in the Iron Paradise. So he's got one arm up to hold the camera for him to look at. He's shirtless, by the way, for some fucking reason.
I mean, he's always
and
shirtless.
In his other hand, the whole time, you don't see it until he brings it up. He's like, thanks to Zoa energy drink, brings it up in front of the camera. Like,
and then we got to see a Black Adam trailer that came out a day prior.
Yeah. Like, I remember I was listening to Kind of Funny's critique of this, and they were saying, like, if you're going to be in your Iron Paradise and it's going to be, like, just go all in. Like, be sitting there curling the whole time. Like go in for the bit. If it's going to be this brand integration, don't try and make it this pseudo-natural thing because it sucked. Like, be upfront with us because we're not idiots.
I can tell you why, right? He's going to run for president.
What do you mean?
He's 100% going to run for president, dude.
What does that have to do with this?
He wants to be likable to everybody at all times. He didn't have anything. He just wanted to be, once again, in front of people
Well, he did it badly.
Voters, Kerry, voters.
It was bad. It was capital B bad.
This is everything that he does. He doesn't do lean-ins anymore. He does, I'm the everyman's everyman, right?
Right.
He's 100% likable 100% of the time. He's Captain Charisma. He is your next president, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Ugh. So yeah, I think that was a detraction from the show. Like, it's good for Jeff that he can pull that kind of weight. Like, great. I don't have anything wrong with him showing the Black Adam trailer in the show. It's a relevant enough interest for this kind of thing.
Sure.
But it was bad. I agree with you, Jeremy, in terms of the overall impression for the show. Like, I was going through the list like you were to see what was good and what was not. I had a sort of skewed impression of both of these in terms of a live watching experience because I was working during the process, and so I didn't actually get to watch a lot of the show. My impression at the time was that it was fairly decent. But going through that list, I'm like, I remember this. It's not like, oh, I don't even remember what this is. It was like, no, I remember looking at this trailer and like, I don't really care about it. And I remember seeing this and I don't really care about it. And I was like, this was cool, but it's not really for me. This was cool, not really for me. I don't know what this is. I don't really care about this. Like, there was a lot there that was not that great. Or like, the thing that I liked about it was not the game, but like the way they presented it.
Sure. Yeah.
And so, I do think I have to say this was a fairly weak conference in terms of Jeff, but it was a step in terms of Jeff's output, you know, TGAs and whatever. It was no Gearbox conference. It was no Koch Media. I'd say it was better than the Square Enix Presents that we got last year that people really didn't like.
It was better than the Square Enix Presents where we got Avengers, right? Like, it's better than most. It's better than the bad, but it's not good.
I don't think it was a bad conference.
No.
But I don't know that it was a good one either.
Exactly.
Which is, like, there have been times where you watch the TGAs and you're like, man, I'm sick of the ads, and man, move on with this, and man, like, I didn't have any of those big overarching critiques with this one, aside from the Rock integration.
Yeah, right. Yeah, fair enough.
So, do you want to start us off, or shall I start us off with our top picks?
Yeah. Let's I'll start it just because I've got mine up first.
Yep.
So if you're watching the video, I'm just gonna have these trailers on in the background so we can just talk to the games as we're talking about them. My first pick of the Summer Game Fest, not the Summer Games Fest, no matter what you might want to say, is the Callisto Protocol. I think this game looks really sick. I can imagine that the developers of this game were a little bit annoyed that EA decided to make Dead Space again at the same time that these folks are making this. That being said, I was looking at the release date for this and looking at the release date for Dead Space. I think there's enough room that both of these can exist completely fine.
Totally.
There's about
so for those who are unaware, the Callisto Protocol is made by an independent team, but a lot of previous devs and the creative director of the previous Dead Space games from like the original Dead Space games, Glenn Schofield.
Yeah.
So
it's a over-the-shoulder third-person horror film set in space. It looks really cool. Gory. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah. How did you feel about this trailer, having seen half of it already at the State of Play? It's the same trailer with more content on either side.
I think it was good to actually properly see gameplay. Seeing like limbs getting shot off and the stomping and all that stuff. I think it was cool. Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm excited for this game. I think this game looks cool. I wanna play it. And I'm looking forward to more of the. Like, I like action horror a lot, I think. I like horror that isn't just about being scared, but you have to like kill the thing. Because
would you say Resi 8 fits that bill?
Yes, 100%. So yeah, I think this will be a good time for me. I'm excited for
it. Callisto Protocol was not on my list. It's not really my bag.
Yeah.
First game on my list is not a new game, but it was a trailer that I looked at. I'm like, fuck yes, I do want to play this. It was Neon White. This is the next game from Ben Esposito, creator of Donut County. We've spoken about it on the show before. This was a really good gameplay trailer. Like it's the best look of gameplay that we've seen from Neon White in a long time.
Yep.
And it came with the release date at the end of this. I'm just looking for the end of the trailer. What was the date?
June 16th.
Doesn't say. June 16th. That's in like 3 days.
Yes.
So I do really want to play this. It's that like speedrunner roguelike card FPS shooter game.
Yep.
With an outrageous sense of style and like cool characters.
Yeah,
I'm really interested
into
to see how it. Yeah, I'm really interested to see how it comes about. This trailer isn't necessarily that great, and it sort of again speaks to the sort of caliber of reveals at this showcase.
Yeah,
I'm just already excited for this game. That's why it's on this list. Nothing was like a big pop out that like overtook it for me.
Do you know? So yeah. Are you interested in the style of this or more of the gameplay side of it?
It's an interesting pull because I do think they are a bit at odds with each other. The style, there are a lot of 2D animations and character portraits and stuff like that give you sort of a visual novel vibe, like a Paradise Killer vibe.
Well, I was literally just going to mention Paradise Killer. This was my segue into bringing up Paradise Killer again.
And like that's great, that's awesome. But the really fast pace first person shooter roguelite speedrunner card-based gameplay is completely antithetical to that in some ways. It feels like first blush. So yeah, it's interesting. I don't know that I'll actually like it with the gameplay. It looks very hard.
It does look like pretty fast, and if you fuck it up, you'll have to do a lot again, I guess, is how it feels.
Yeah, and like there's ways to perfect a level and perfect a run and stuff like that. So yeah, I am excited for it. But I don't know that I'm going to love it. I might bounce off it.
Yeah, fair enough.
What's your next pick, Jeremy?
So, I'm on stream, and I'm watching.
This is my honorable mention.
Yeah, like this probably should have been my honorable mention, but I think it was funny enough that I was mad enough. Like I was genuinely mad enough that like I think it actually deserves a spot. I'm watching the game, I'm watching the Summer Game Fest, and there's this trailer of this dude on the beach putting on headphones, starting to jog to music, popular pop music. And I'm going, I know this. Have they seriously brought back Dead Island 2?
This game that's been dead in the water for years. No one's heard anything from it. The trailer was amazing.
The trailer was great. The first game was apparently fine, but like the trailers for both of those games were really good.
Yeah.
And then this trailer pops up again, and it's fucking Goat Simulator. Goat Simulator 3, might I add.
So can I say, Jeremy, Sam actually watched some of your the VOD of your stream, right?
Yeah.
And we're watching this. I went to this section because you told me that you lost it.
Yeah.
And you were tweeting when Jeff was talking about the trailer, and Jeff was hyping it up too as this thing. Like he keyed into the fake out where he's like,
it was a game
the highly anticipated sequel for a game that's been coming out for a while, and you got to be careful that you don't get bit, like playing into the zombie sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was really funny. Like such a good trailer up Goat Simulator's alley, to pull that fake out and then to just have it be so wacky in the background the whole time.
And then I'm like, Goat Simulator 3, like I wasn't aware there's a 2. There isn't a 2.
There wasn't a 2.
They just made 3. They did the Gremlins thing. Not Gremlins,
it's so funny.
Whatever the fucking horror film is.
I liked the first Goat Simulator.
Oh, I liked it when it came out. I don't think I'd ever go back and play it now. I'm not going to play another one.
It's got co-op by the looks of it.
Okay. I have look, this is a good trailer, and I'm happy that this trailer got me.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm definitely never going to play another Goat Simulator.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, this is an honorable mention for me because it's like, I like this moment. Like, I'm in a similar spot, right? Where I don't think I'm going to go back to Goat Simulator.
Yeah.
Unless it's much more polished, like because the other one was so jank.
Yeah, the other one was it's jank on purpose, right?
Yes and no. There was some unintentional jank in there.
Fair enough.
But yeah, this is my honorable mention because it's funny, like it's great. It's a great trailer, kind of irrespective of what the actual game is.
Yeah.
So kudos to you, dev team, Coffee Stain, right?
Yeah.
You guys did a good job.
All right, Kerry,
Uh,
your one.
my second pick. This is a fairly unexamined pick. This is Warhammer 40k Darktide.
I was very surprised to see this in your picks.
This was one of the ones that when I got a chance to like get away from the work I was doing at the time, I looked at it. I'm like, this looks cool. I don't know. It's sort of a. Oh, that's my cat chiming in. It looks like if you took Warhammer Vermintide or like Left 4 Dead and stuck it in the 40k universe, and so you're fighting like space future cult zombies instead. There's something where I just looked at the gameplay and I thought, you know what, this looks like a good time. Like,
I completely agree.
maybe I would enjoy Doom more if it was multiplayer. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting here, you know, but with like short knives and like that 40k experience. I don't know. There's something about the tone of the game that fit the multiplayer cooperative survival setting. Like it just worked for me in my head. I looked at this. I'm like, yeah, I could play this. I don't know why. It surprises me too.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you that I was thinking the same thing, going like, do I want to play like a Warhammer game? Because look at all these, like there's tons of fucking like zombies on screen.
It's like there's 3 Warhammer games a year, you know? Like so many.
Oh, like, so there's an article that Luke Plunker put out on fucking Kotaku saying like, oh my god, I can't believe how many fucking Warhammer games there are. And there's been like 60 of them in like fucking like
10 years.
Yeah, 10 years or something, right? It's like it's like a really good article.
Yeah. But sorry, yeah, you're saying lots of enemies on screen.
Lots of enemies on screen. I think like visually it looks really good too. Like the lighting is really gross, and you know it's really gory and it's like dark and decrepit and dank and stuff. But like I this looks like a fun video game.
Totally. I think it's I don't know. Like I've seen this setting a bunch of times before. Like that new Demon Hunters one that came out. That's like XCOM 40k.
Yeah.
Like it's cool, but the like oppressive space marine, you know, like it becomes very serious. These games don't have like a non-serious bone in their body.
No.
But in this setting where I could play with friends, but also engage with the gameplay, I think it lends itself to the setting really well for me to engage with it. A setting that I wouldn't necessarily engage with in times gone past. So yeah. I don't know if I'll ever actually get to it, but I was down for it. The game is expected to release September 13th.
I would play this game if it comes out on Game Pass.
Yeah. I could definitely see it doing that.
Yeah, me too.
Even if it was like 3 months down the line.
Sure. Yeah.
What's your third pick, Jeremy?
A game called Routine, Kerry.
Poutine?
Poutine.
When I saw that originally, I wanted to make that joke to the people I was working with. I'm like, no, that just doesn't make sense. That's just word association.
Well, I'm glad you made it to be. Routine is a science fiction horror game. First person, not unlike Alien Isolation, it looks like, but in a much more science fiction heavy world as opposed to like H.R. Geiger. This was maybe my favorite trailer of the whole show. I loved this wholeheartedly. The weird CRT like video cassette filter on everything, as if it's like it's the future of the 1980s, right? You know,
exactly. And like the like scanner that this person is holding is like it's a 1980s future scanner.
It's got a CRT
like made out of that
screen.
white. Yeah, it's made out of that like that white beige computer plastic from that time.
And then there's this fucking awful looking robot with this
this skull bot,
beady eyes, and it's like a big wide open mouth. I don't know. This is such a Jeremy Core game, and I'm so excited to give this a fucking red hot go.
Totally,
and probably be too scared.
Some Soma vibes in this.
Definitely some big Soma vibes. I think this game looks really sick. This is definitely my game of the Summer Game Fest.
Interesting. That's interesting. It speaks to me.
There's literally a cassette on the TV in this.
Oh, really?
There it is.
That's fascinating.
On the right hand side.
there were not a criticism, but something that people noticed about this showcase. There was a lot of horror trailers for this game.
A lot of science fiction horror, a lot of horror in space.
Yeah, like
tons.
That one with Troy Baker, Fort Solis, and fucking Arthur from Red Dead.
Oh yeah, he was great. How good was he on stage?
He was good on stage.
So
I liked
likable.
the bits they had on stage with the people. Some of them went a bit too long. Like Troy took his liberties a bit.
Oh yeah, do you like? We'll get there.
I'm gonna peek, Jeremy, at your honorable mention, just to see if it's the same as my third pick.
Yeah. What?
Your honorable mention is for the Xbox conference, so I don't know.
I might have accidentally put the wrong link in the thing. It's fine. It was good.
Okay.
It was good. No, sorry, that's right. My honorable mention was The Rock.
Oh, shut up!
It was going to be The Rock.
Dishonorable mention.
I couldn't find the clip in time, and then I forgot.
Ugh, it sucked. So my third pick for this is
just to reiterate, my joke was going to be I was just going to play the Black Adam trailer.
Oh, my honorable mention is the Black Adam trailer.
Yeah.
So my third pick is The Last of Us Part 1, the remake, or the remaster, as I feel like calling it.
The middle master.
This is Master Rich, the intermediate, the re-intermediate.
We've made another one.
We've remade another one.
Yeah, we've made it again.
So this is one we've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks as the rumors keep coming. I don't know if I want this game.
I don't think I really want it.
Right? Like, you and I are interested in playing that game again and having, like, some time away from number 2, going into number 2 after playing the first one. You were saying you haven't really played it as, like, an adult. So, like, there's an appeal to playing this game again. But it is already so good on the first remaster, on the PS4. I could see them. So there are gameplay. This trailer we got for this is cinematic only, and the improvements are there when you'd see the side by sides. But when I was watching it, I'm like, this is the same game. Like, you could see that they have changed it. Like, when I was watching it, I'm like, what have they done? Is this just texture upressing? It's like, okay, no, they've done more. They've added new particle effects and
mostly, if not all, new models, right? Like it's
they've updated the models and found a way to transpose the old animation and performance data of the original performances to those new models.
Yeah.
And like, that's great. If they don't change the content of the game, perfect. That's fine by me. I don't want them to change any of the performances. I don't want them to change a line. The game's perfect. Don't fuck with it.
You know they're gonna fuck with it, right? You know
I don't know that they will. I'm not gonna.
No, you know they're gonna fuck with it, right? This is gonna be
this
is gonna be the rehabilitation of Joel Miller cut. This is 100% gonna be that. This is gonna be they're gonna make Last of Us 2 spoilers. Heavy Last of Us 2 spoilers.
Heavy Last of Us 2 spoilers.
Heavy Last of Us 2. Abby's dad is gonna be a character in this, right? He's gonna have moments in that hospital.
I don't know if he'll have moments, but it'll probably be his model in the scene.
They will draw attention to it being him. He might say, "No, I have a daughter," or something like that, right? They're gonna fuck with this game because they can't help it.
I hope they don't. If they do, I will be upset.
They already changed his character model to make Joel look way more sympathetic and way less imposing in this game, just like they did in the flashback scenes in Last of Us 2. He's not nearly as scary of a man.
So there's something, I heard you say this earlier in the week, and there's something I have to say to that. The actions that Joel takes, especially at the end of the game, it doesn't matter how tall he is. It doesn't matter how like good his beard looks. Like the actions he takes does not allow for him to be more sympathetic.
No, of course not.
There is not room for that.
But they are still making those changes. They are deciding to make him look older, make him look more withered. His eyes are...
I mean, he is meant to be like 50.
I know, but he looked 50 in the original game.
I don't think he looked 50 in the original game. I think he looked like an old 30s in the original game. which doesn't make sense.
No.
Because he had a teenage daughter when the infection happened, and then 15 years passed. He's like 50 years old.
They've made him shorter. They've given him more smile lines around his eyes. They're doing things because they're trying to. This is okay. Here's so I was talking to my housemate about this the other day because I was like,
oh god,
I was talking to him because I was like, oh, did you hear the remake in Last of Us? Because he's played most of the first one and has played half of the second one. But he's
that's very funny.
He's never had a PlayStation till now, so he's only ever played it at other people's houses. I was like, yeah, did you hear that we were making Last of Us? And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, right. That's really weird. Like, why? He's like, what? He's like, what kind of remake is that? I explained the whole thing. It's like, that's so weird. And I said to him,
your conspiracy theory.
No. I said a sentence to him, which I'm going to say to you now, which I think is true. This is not a remake of The Last of Us. This is a prequel to the sequel they made.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's why they've called it Part 1.
Yes.
Where the other one is Part 2, right? They're bringing it in line. And I think the combat improvements from Part 2, which were excellent, by the way, best stealth gameplay I think I've ever played, bringing that into Part 1, great.
I'm excited to play it again. I'm excited to see the gameplay changes. I'm not excited to see the thematic story changes.
I hope they have enough integrity to not do it. When they say, literally in this trailer, when they're like, the beloved masterpiece, you know, it's like, you can't set us up for that and then fuck with it.
Yes, you can.
Like, and if you do, I have no trust in you anymore. Like, you've already lost that trust for some reason. Like, you're already off the deep end. I'm not there yet. I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt and see what happens. But if they fuck with it, like, why are we doing this? Like, why are you going back to rewrite the story slightly for a different narrative? That's not what anyone is here for.
Welcome to when Han used to shoot first, and then they changed it, right? This is not new. They do this.
I don't care if it's not new. It's like, it's been irrelevant to my experience before.
Get ready is what I will say. Also, fucking old mate on stage, Troy Baker crying watching the trailer. Like, give me a break, guy.
He's always been an emotional. Troy Baker's interesting because he's quite seemingly like emotionally like forward, wears his heart on his sleeve, but he's also, I don't know, he also wants to be taken seriously a lot. Like, there's a vibe that you get from him. I don't think he's a bad person, but he's a lot.
He's uppity.
He's a little uppity.
Also, he was going to do NFT shit for a while. Remember that?
I do remember that. There are a lot of people who've been doing NFT shit.
What was that thing that he said? He said you can either be a hater or you can like help pave the way or something like that.
Something like that.
And then when Last of Us 2 came out, when there was like not even a bad review, but it was like just a middling review of The Last of Us 2, and he was like,
who did he quote? Like Roosevelt?
Yeah, he was quoting fucking Theodore Roosevelt about how like you know like critics are not in the trenches. Give me a break, guy. Get a grip.
So just to put a dot on this, I've been saying all this time, I haven't necessarily been excited for this. I've been like, who wants this?
Yeah.
Why? We don't need this. The original remake is fine. Put your time elsewhere. And I watch this fucking trailer and I'm in. Because I'm a fucking sucker.
I was going to say
and I'm annoyed at myself so much. I'm like, shit, it looks so good. God, the soundtrack's so good. Oh, I want to play it. I'm furious at how expensive it is. I hate how expensive it is.
$125.
Like
so much money.
You sold Horizon Forbidden West for $100, although they sell it for $125 on the online store, by the way, which sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, this remake. This is the only time where I could be like, guys, even if I'm on board with you charging more for new games, which I've been less and less on board with, even if I'm on board with it, we've played this game already.
Yeah, like
so many people have played this game already. Just sell it for $100 at least.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
$125. So yeah. And still, it's my third pick of the show. After all of that, I'm still excited to give it a go. Coming out in September, I want to see the changes. I want to see the Digital Foundry breakdown. I want to play the game again. I want to see the gameplay improvements.
I'm more excited about Factions than I am for this, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited for Factions too, but it's not coming yet, and it's going to be standalone.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it'll be a while away.
They did speak about it on the show. Has me thinking maybe Factions is just not going to be bundled in with Last of Us Part 2 PS5 version. Like, maybe it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be a separate thing, and I think they'll push it into the PlayStation Plus.
It's like when Lisa gets an A, what is it? An A+++.
Oh yeah, or
and one of the marks is like strawberry jam or something. That's a weird joke. Anyway,
what you reminded me of is the Homer's BBBBQ.
Oh, I don't know that one.
I'll show you later.
Okay. So that's Summer Game Fest. Fine, a fine conference.
A fine conference.
A fine conference. You know what was a better conference, Jeremy?
Gearbox 20. Yeah.
Oh my god! Don't make me leave the call. I will. I don't want to go back there. I don't like that time. I don't like that time that happened. That experience. So the Xbox and Bethesda showcase happened this morning.
Yes.
We liked it.
I thought it was one of the best ones they've ever had.
Yep, I agree.
Best one of this year, no doubt.
Yep.
Best of last year? Probably.
Maybe. Last year didn't have too many like big conferences that were in and of themselves fantastic.
Yeah.
Sony's September showcase was fantastic, but that wasn't E3.
What was September?
Because you know that
Spider-Man
was
and
Ragnarok gameplay and cinematic.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2, Wolverine.
Yeah, right.
That showcase rocked. But yeah, this showcase, I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about what we knew about Bethesda. I'm only just Xbox and Bethesda. I'm only just realizing we didn't see Hellblade.
No, not yet. And
that
not
kind of blows my mind.
No Avowed either.
No Avowed. I could see that. That was very brand new when we first saw that. But Hellblade has been in the works.
There's also
for
no
a while.
Perfect Dark, and there's also no Fable, and there's a lot of the core Xbox stuff we didn't see. No Halo update at all. No mention of it.
True. No Gears.
No Gears.
Fable and Perfect Dark, those were very similarly to Avowed. When we first saw them, it was like cinematic trailer, and that's literally all the game is right now. Like it's
that
just
was
started
4
production.
years ago, though, right? Like
Avowed was, yes, but
Fable was.
No. Fable was much more recent than that. And Perfect Dark. I think it was 2 years ago now. Maybe 3, but not 4. Point being, though, like I was thinking before the showcase, I was like, we haven't heard much out of Xbox in the last 3 months. There hasn't been that much from them.
Oh, well, I mean, there was a few days ago. There was their big game, the big Game Pass. Like, here's all the new things that are coming to Game Pass. E3 demo things. Play xCloud. So the other day, Xbox had a big they just dropped a bunch of information, and I think because they wanted to be part of the E3 thing, but they couldn't fit it in the press conference. Right. So it was you can stream. You'll be able to stream most of your library that you've bought over xCloud over the next year.
Yeah, so games coming to streaming that aren't on Game Pass if you own it.
Yes, which is pretty exciting. Being able to just play those games almost immediately. If you're someone who buys a FIFA game or a Call of Duty game every year and they're not on Game Pass, Call of Duty will at some point, but and they're not on Game Pass, you can just buy the game and play it immediately, right?
Stream it while it's downloading or play it on the bus.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. As well as
they also announced you can use Samsung TVs to play Game Pass now directly. You just pair your controller to the TV.
Soon, yeah, they're adding Game Pass capability with Samsung TVs. And the other one was that they are doing a bunch of demos. E3 demos are going to start being added to Game Pass, and developers are going to start getting financial compensation for demos.
Yes.
Unlike a PlayStation, who are like,
Yes.
you want to be on the
Who
service,
mandate demos.
you got to get a demo, and we're not going to pay you for it.
Yeah.
Jim Ryan will
no.
punch you in the leg. I think that like all three of those things, like across that, as well as like xCloud and Game Pass coming to more countries as well. That stuff is all good stuff. Like, and that leads directly into this conference, right? Which is that like, hey, guess what's coming to Game Pass over the next 12 months, basically. This was a great conference. This was like a really fucking solid one.
It was so chockers. It was so full. It was so dense. And there were so many moments in this where I was like, whoa, this is coming out. Or like when you saw it, people were like, whoa, it looks so good. Or like, oh wow, the soundtrack to this is amazing. Like there were so many moments in this conference that we have been missing, not just from this year, but also last year. And probably the year before it too. Like there was so many reasons to get excited watching this conference.
There was Jeff Grubb was on Twitter.
Classic Jeff Grubb.
Classic Jeff Grubb. He was quote tweeting a post talking about how Phil Spencer was saying that this is not going to be a CGI heavy showcase. There will be a lot of gameplay in this one.
Okay.
Jeff Grubb quote tweeted that and said, if I can find the tweet.
Jeff Grubb, who used to be at VGC,
GamesBeat,
is now at Giant Bomb. Games Radar is now at Giant Bomb.
GamesBeat.
Full time. GamesBeat, thank you, is now at Giant Bomb full time.
GamesBeat, Kerry?
I was thinking about...
I've lost the tweet.
Right. I was thinking about that Giant Bomb shakeup this last week. You're a big fan of Giant Bomb, and so's Ollie. It's interesting how they got... they got Dan fucking... What's his last name?
Dan fucking Reichert.
They got Dan Reichert to come back from his job at WWE, which he left Giant Bomb for. They got Grubb to come full time and move across the country for this job.
To be fair, it looks like Dan fucking hated that job.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like this is just reading into what he was saying, but yeah, people saying like, "Hey, weren't you working?" And he goes, "Yep, fuck that, I'm out of there." Is basically what he was saying.
Okay. So yeah, no, it's interesting that like the shakeup that was going on there, and then Jeff just left. Anyway, I was just vamping while you're finding the tweet.
Yeah, I can find.
What was the general gist? Can you give us the gist?
That he was really unhappy with the previous conferences because he was looking at Sony going, they're showing off all of these really great, really like high class games, and we just are only really showing CG trailers all of the time. And he was dissatisfied with that and quite unhappy, which is why this is full of gameplay.
Yep. It really was full of gameplay, and so much of it, like they said, was like, oh, this is running in engine, like the Forza Motorsport engine demo they showed was ridiculous.
Yeah,
ridiculous. So yeah, we were very positive on the showcase, and I think we should just get into it because the moments I really want to bring up are my picks. So what was your first pick, Jeremy?
I'm going to start off with one of your picks. This is Starfield.
Have you heard of it?
I was streaming it this morning. You can catch the full VOD on minimap.com.au. I was a little bit upset with myself because I'm sitting here going like, oh no, I've been in this situation before.
Okay.
I can feel just a little metal hook grabbing the inside of my mouth. What's this hook doing? I thought I thought this was a little bit of food, a little bit of a treat.
Is that a train up above the surface of? Is that a hype train up there?
I think this looks pretty good. And I'm really upset by it because I look at this now and I'm like, oh, I see Fallout.
Yeah.
You can see
it's in there.
You can see the bones, right? You can see the Fallout skeleton. There's a lot more going on here than there is in Fallout, and I'm very glad to not immediately be in a wasteland, or at least a wasteland that's green. At least this is a wasteland that is grey.
Totally. Or you can like land on the wasteland planet and then be like, fuck this, and then go to like the forest planet.
Yeah, right. Like it looks like there's going to be a lot more variety in the gameplay as well as the location, which I'm excited to see.
I think the fidelity of the assets looks great.
Yeah, I think it looks really good. I am curious to see how it runs, because these games, by and large, do not run well when they come out.
Sure.
You have to wait until you can just power through it, or a mod. There is a jetpack. Jetpacks are cool. The shooting, I didn't care about really almost at all. I think this was the part of the conference, the part of this trailer that I just was not into at all.
See, that's interesting because that's a big verb, you know, that's a big way that you're going to be interacting with the game.
I know. And that's probably going to be what will remind me that I don't actually like these games.
I looked at the shooting and I was like, decent enough. I'm in. Like, looks better than Fallout 4. I'm in.
It does look better than Fallout 4.
Not the tallest bar to clear,
No,
but
not at all.
an important one to clear.
Yeah. The robots look cool. The character models look fine. Eyes are a bit glass.
They're better than they have been in the past.
Oh, sure, but like they're still not great.
They're an improvement. They look like they're about on par with a little bit more polish than like the Outer Worlds from Obsidian from a few years ago.
Yes, I think what they need to do is they need to maybe talk to their friends over at Arcane and then try and borrow some of those. I have to quickly throw us to a break, Kerry.
Do you need to go to the toilet, Jeremy?
I gotta go to the toilet so fucking bad, dude. Like,
why don't you go and I'll vamp?
All right, I'll let this play.
Leave the trailer running and I'll carry us.
I'll be back.
Good luck and Godspeed. So yeah, watching the trailer, this is my pick as well. And so this is one, it's sort of my pick by default. It's my third pick. There were other things in here that there are other things in the showcase that didn't really pop out to me. And I sort of picked it again from that morbid curiosity standpoint that we've been talking about for a few weeks now in terms of our anticipation for this game. It's great just seeing it. It's great finally getting to see it and seeing the differences in locations. You know, you think back to like the first time I saw Morrowind, you know, like the third Elder Scrolls game, and the different, you could go into the forest and go to the castle, and it was a different vibe and different people in it. Like seeing that in this space setting, I think is impressive, and I am enthused enough, which sounds very positive, doesn't it? I'm enthused enough by the shooting combat that I think it's going to be engaging enough for me to get into. I think at the end of the day, I can't see what would make this game special yet. I don't know that this game has enough to be like, oh yeah, you got to try stuff. You got to try the space exploration. Oh, the dungeons are amazing. Like I'm looking at the environments look great. The environments look really good, actually. I think they're the best part of this demo that they revealed today. For our first look at gameplay, I think the environments are amazing. But I don't know that the gameplay is going to be enough to keep us in. Welcome back, Jeremy.
Thank you. What are you talking about?
I'm just saying how I think the environments look amazing, but I don't know that I can't see from this trailer yet what is going to make this game like amazing. What's going to make this game like in 2011 when my friend said, "Hey, I just got Skyrim. I really think you should try it. I think you would really enjoy it." Like I don't see what's going to make people say that for this game yet.
Like frankly, like they're not. They're not going to say that, and I think because of two things. This game looks really wide. This looks like a really wide game, and Skyrim is not a wide game. Skyrim.
What are you talking about?
I mean, as in, you stumble across things in Skyrim all the time.
Okay.
Skyrim is lived in, and Skyrim.
It's very wide.
But it's not. You're never like alone in Skyrim.
Okay.
Like it is lived in. There are towns. There are people. There are bandits. There's a vampire, there's a werewolf, there's a monster.
I think you're using wide as the wrong term. Like, it is so wide. Do you mean it is sparse? It is not sparse, it is dense?
Yes. What do you think I mean by wide?
I think you mean like breadth of content.
Oh, no.
Like amount of content.
No, God, no. I meant, okay. Sparse is what this game is. Dense is what Skyrim is.
I don't know that this game is sparse. Like, I could see why you'd think that, because you could land anywhere on the planet and then all of a sudden you're on an entire planet, right? And how is an entire planet going to be engaging?
But I think what I mean by this is that, like, I think this game is going to feel somewhat disconnected in itself, in terms of you're going to different worlds all the time, right? You know, like in Skyrim, it's you know, politics between cities, right? It's politics between the two major sides of the war in this one world, right? The cities are not very big. You can explore them quite quickly. You sort of run from one side to the other in a couple of minutes.
And then outside the town, there's a stable, and then there's a dungeon underneath that takes you to the jail.
Yes. And, you know, in this game, they're talking about 1,000 planets. And of course, 1,000 planets is not going to be 1,000 lived in planets with all, like, politics and everything. But there's going to be quite a lot of planets to go to, and quite a lot of planets that you don't need to go to. But that's going to make you feel quite a lot, let's say more alone than in Skyrim. Similar with, you know, there's ship combat and all that stuff, right? There's going to be a lot of things that are going to be a little bit more disconnected, I think. That I think people are not going to immediately click with this game like they do with Skyrim. And I think part of the other reason is I think that the high fantasy setting of Skyrim is a lot more approachable than this science fiction setting.
Sure, I think that makes sense.
I don't think people are going to look at this as like a my first RPG, but this might be a gateway into a Mass Effect or maybe even like an Elite Dangerous type world for some people, maybe.
Sure. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I think it looks good. It looks good. I'm also excited that it's only for Series Xbox consoles and PC. We're not catering to the poor shambling corpse of the Xbox One 10 years after its release by the time this comes out. Like, Xbox, you've made the right call. It is time to move on.
Yes. We will start seeing that a lot more in the next year, I can guarantee.
Yeah, and well, you say that. We didn't see that many next-gen games from Summer Game Fest. Like Gotham Knights was one of the most notable ones. So, like, and it's good because that gives Bethesda the headroom to make it a little more demanding and not necessarily be the most efficient with the use of the hardware, and just gives them maybe a little bit of room to brute force a couple of issues. You know what I mean?
Boy, do they need it.
Just fucking put it on the high-speed SSD, like, make it load fast, and then maybe we won't have these compression issues or whatever. You know, whatever they have. Their systems are so complex and intricate and interconnected that they run into so many complex bugs and nuances and glitches and just dumb bullshit. I can't imagine what it must be like being their QA team. Well, I say that. There was an article that came out last week that's saying it's actually quite bad to be a part of their QA team.
Yeah.
I really hope that's not the case.
Specifically about Fallout 76.
Yep. Yeah. And how, the lead devs didn't want to be making that game.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Starfield. I need to see more, honestly. I like what I see. I need to see more. I wish we could have had a standalone Bethesda conference like we had in 2015, and they give us 40 minutes. You know, I want a 40-minute Starfield deep dive right now, like they gave us with Fallout 4 when they revealed it. Like,
and you know this, but I'm gonna remind you again. Like, you already own this game.
Well, Jeremy, I might be leaving Game Pass behind. No, I don't know.
You gotta join
it's
PlayStation.
It's not about
Plus,
that for me, though. Like, I wanna see it now to know if I'll enjoy it.
Oh,
I'm
sure,
curious
100%.
about its quality. I'm curious about its not just its quality in terms of like a 5 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10, but like it's like what makes this game tick? What is at the heart of this game? What makes this game worth making and worth funding and worth buying and worth getting Game Pass for? What is the hook of this game aside from space version of Skyrim and Fallout? What is it aside from that? I still don't know yet.
Yeah, I think I don't know answer. Don't know answer. I think I don't know the answer either.
Yeah.
But
also like you can mine things in this like it's No Man's Sky.
like there's some No Man's Sky vibes happening in this game that's getting my getting me a little bit interested.
If you had told me in 2016 that Jeremy would say to me, "Oh, there's this new vibe from the new Bethesda game that reminds me of No Man's Sky, this game that just came out that bombed, and I'm interested. It's making me keener for this game." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. What a world we live in.
Yeah. All right, we should definitely move on. We're going a little long on Starfield. So that was your first pick. That was my third, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was my third. So that was your first, my third. So that's our picks. Do you want to go with your second pick, Jeremy?
No, I'll go with your first.
Oh, yeah, my first, obviously.
You can talk about me if you want, but like, I thought we better include you a little bit.
For the last 20 years, the mainline Persona games have been PlayStation exclusive across PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4. There isn't a new one on PS5. But that's just how it's always been.
The spin-offs of Shin Megami Tensei.
Yes, that are now arguably more popular than the original series.
That is not at all arguable. That is just fact at this point.
Yeah. You want to hit go on the trailer?
Oh, yeah.
Xbox announced that they are bringing Persona 3 portable, Persona 3 portable, Persona 4 Golden, so these are all of the re-released better additive versions of the games, and Persona 5 Royal to Xbox on Game Pass on Xbox One, Series, and PC, bringing a lot of these games to new audiences, bringing older games to, like, Persona 3, there's no real modern way to play that game.
Isn't it on PC already?
Maybe. Is it on PC? I wondered. It might already be on PC.
I think they added it to PC. Like that, like when they...
But there's no modern console way to play that game. And Persona 5 has been locked on the PS3 and PS4, like, irrefutably. Unable to be on Switch no matter how many people cried for it. And now it's coming to Game Pass with the previous two entries in the series. This is an absolutely huge get. And something else I noticed when I was watching this trailer, and this is one of these moments I'm talking about, right, that made me pop off. I'm like, holy shit. We were watching this. It's like, oh, Persona 3, that's interesting. Oh, they've got Persona 4, that's good. Are they going to get Persona 5? It's Persona 5. It's Royal. Is it going to be on Game? It's on Game Pass. Like, this was huge for those that care about it. Ultimately, Persona is relatively niche for a larger gaming audience. But for the people who care, it's big. And the version of Persona 5 Royal that's coming to PC and Xbox Series consoles is next-gen upgraded. It runs at 60 FPS, which I didn't realize the original game didn't. But watching this trailer, I'm like, oh, it looks so good. Maybe I play the whole game again because it runs so good. Of course, I'm not going to do because it's too long. But I want to. The thought crossed my mind. This was... I really popped off for this. And, you know, I'm just in that Persona rabbit hole really deep right now for the first time in my life. Like, I'm sitting here going, thank God the game's not about to end, Persona 5 Royal, when we beat this final boss from the original game. Like, I'm so glad there's more content. So, like, of course this was going to speak to me when they announced it this year. But what a great get. Great get by Xbox.
Yep. I wholeheartedly agree.
Now, the question is, do they get Persona 6? Do they get it later? Do they get it exclusively? Question. Do they get it at the same time? Who knows? This is kind of...
Yeah,
who knows what's going to happen here with the Persona exclusivity?
It's a really good question. I could see them pinching 6.
Which would be huge, right? Sega and Xbox have had a really positive relationship with each other and with Game Pass over the last few years. So, like... It's hard to know. It's hard to know what is going to happen next, because Sony and Sega, they've also had a really, I don't know if it's been positive, but it's been concrete and long-standing.
Well, I think it was just you know, the console in Japan was the PlayStation.
Sure.
Like, you know, like Nintendo were doing their own thing, and you know, you couldn't find anyone who owned an Xbox in Japan for a good long while.
Yeah,
the 360 and the Xbox One famously, like, really failed to capture an audience there. They tried in the 360 ages, and then in the Xbox One ages, they didn't even bother.
Yeah. It's interesting. They said that they made a note, like Phil made a note of saying at the conference, we're really making an effort to reach out to Japanese gamers and games made for a Japanese audience.
I mean, that was why he brought fucking Phantasy Star Online to the Xbox.
Yeah, that went well for him.
I mean, I don't think that game's not doing poorly or anything, but like, yeah, it was just like I think he gets it in a way.
Yeah. Oh god, I'm just watching the trailer, Jeremy, and I'm getting chills. Jeremy.
I'm going to move on to Forza Motorsport. Now, interestingly, no number in this.
No, they're eschewing the number.
It's this is what I'm going to assume is going to become a platform. What we say in the business, a platform, maybe.
Little Assassin's Creed Infinity, little Fortnite action.
Maybe. I'm not sure. But I think maybe. We haven't seen Forza Motorsport in quite a while now.
I'm literally looking that up. Yep.
Last one I think was 7, and that was on the Xbox One. I'm gonna guess 2017 is last time we saw it.
Ooh, you want to guess a month because you got the year?
Ooh, I do not want to guess a month. I'm gonna say.
Okay, what about a quarter?
A quarter. I'm gonna say first quarter.
It was last quarter, unfortunately.
So that was.
You got the year, buddy. You got the year.
It's been a hot fucking minute since I've seen one of these games, and that's because
5 years.
From our understanding is they went away and they remade like basically the engine from the ground up. It's definitely not the engine because we would have got a name for that. They would have said that, but they have remade a lot of the game from the ground up. For next gen.
And also the Horizon games have been doing great guns.
Oh, yeah. Like the Horizon games, they've got that other team that can work on those games. It keeps the money coming in while they can go off and make the ultimate motorsport fantasy game.
The Gran Turismo competitor.
Yes. Which is funny because at this point, Gran Turismo is just a Forza competitor. I feel like. This looks really good. Like visually.
Oh, like visually.
It just looks incredible, right? Like sports games, specifically motorsport games, have by and large been a really good barometer for like graphics and fidelity and how far you can push this stuff.
All those hard surfaces, environment details, buildings.
And we can just see that here. We can just see them pushing that further and further. The environments in this one look really, really good.
Like the rivers.
This part right here in the trailer where they show the scratches, didn't care for it that much. The paint scratching.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah.
That's the point when I was scrubbing through. I'm like, next.
Yeah. I don't think this part looks particularly indicative of like next gen stuff. But when you go to the beginning of this reveal that they were showing off, where they're talking about the real time lighting for the engine, and they've got ray tracing on the cars, which you see later on. It just looks incredible. It just looks so good. I've been playing more Gran Turismo over the past couple of weeks. Not enough to ever bring it up on the podcast, but I've been playing more of it. Trying to get into sort of like the racing sim part of it. Not really finding it at the moment. I think because the game is still kind of easy, at least in the campaign.
Right.
That I don't really have to do much of the simulation part of it. I just sort of have to be faster and I get there.
You're like John Travolta looking for the racing sim.
In Grease Lightning, yeah.
Pulp Fiction.
This just like you can see. Got you with that one, didn't I?
Shut up.
I don't know. I just think this game looks really good. Like just visually overall, I'm excited to play it. I can't believe I'm excited to play Forza games at this point in my life. Like that's not something that I was back in the day.
You are getting old.
I know. Yeah.
Look at these traffic cones, Jeremy.
Look at those traffic cones, Kerry. I'm excited. I think this looks fun. And it's on Game Pass. So I can just play it when it comes out.
Yep.
I do wonder if they will make another one after this for a good while, or if they're going to just or if this will be their platform for the motorsport, for the Forza Motorsports.
I think part of what's helped Forza be so dominant this last generation is not only the fact that Sony's only put out like 2 Gran Turismo games in 10 years, but also the fact that they've been so frequently putting out really good iterations of Forza. Like every 1 or 2 years, there's something new, and it's good enough to warrant a purchase. It's Game of the Year contender worthy. It's like genre defining. They've started defining the modern racing genre with 2 different versions of the same game that capture like 95% of the racing gaming audience. Like,
Yeah.
they've done a great job.
I am curious as well, like, now that this is nearing completion, racing towards the finish line, as they say in the biz, the new the new Forza Horizon, how's that gonna look? All this new tech, all this new gear. The old Forza Horizon 5, that looks great. That game is running on an engine from Forza Horizon 4. That's basically just a new area for 4.
Yeah.
Like, it was by and large the same game. It's a great game. That's why it did so well. People loved it. Looked great, obviously. But like a next-gen Forza Horizon off-road. Set it in Australia again.
Totally. Jeremy, we are 18 months into the next generation. I still feel like we haven't pushed the limits.
No.
I still feel like we haven't unshackled ourselves from the past. And you know what I mean, though, right? Like we're still stuck with catering towards games that were being developed for older platforms. Like Starfield is being developed for Series consoles exclusively, but we know it was in development for previous consoles before this. So, like,
well, that game was also in development for PlayStation consoles as well.
That as well, yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Is this it?
This looks pretty good. This is the start of this. It just feels like it's taking longer than
because people can't get the consoles.
Used to. Yeah, I know. Weird times, man.
Yeah,
weird times.
Weird times. You want to do your next one?
My second/third pick was Cocoon, which is a little indie game made. What is it? The lead gameplay designer of Inside and Limbo was the head sort of name splashed across the screen there. The soundtrack to this literally sent chills down my spine. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's got this incredible art style. It looks like this puzzle platformer where you play as this sort of winged bipedal creature.
Beetle guy.
You pick up orbs and you drop them in places. It looks like a sort of a puzzle platformer game. You know, no existential dread like in Limbo and Inside.
Oh, I'm sure
like maybe there's a bit of it here.
I'm sure there will be.
But it's not chronic in the way it is with those other games, right?
Sure.
Where it's like the entire point. It looks really great. Like, it looks like a really good puzzle platformer sort of experience with an absolutely sick soundtrack, incredible art style. I'm really impressed by it.
Yeah.
For this game that I'd never heard of before. It really made a strong impression with this trailer.
Yeah, this is really up there for me as well. I love the design of everything here. The lighting is really, really cool looking as well. The colors are really striking. Like, the tone is set really well. I'm keen to play it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of it for me. Don't know much about it. They didn't really give a date, did they? No date.
Well, I mean, like,
looks cool though.
Within the next 12 months. Here's the thing: everything on the Xbox thing is actually within the next 12 months, and we weren't 100% sure on that. But then the social media account is like, we said what we said. So.
Sure. I mean, best intentions, best laid of mice and men. What's the saying? Best laid intentions of
Sean Layden's intentions.
Sean Layden's intentions to meet with Adam Boyes. All right, I don't really know what I'm talking about. What is that saying? I have to look that up. Jeremy, what's your third pick?
Lightyear Frontier.
Lightyear
Frontier.
Great name.
Really
a name that
name.
I was like, why would you make that name? And then the more I say it and hear it and read it, I like it more and more.
It's a Pixar name.
Yeah. Luca.
This is a crafting, like a survival crafting game, which if you're like me, you hear that and you're like, ugh. But what you don't realize that this world is stunning and beautiful and looks like a Pixar movie and looks wonderful and there's vibrant colors and nature and it looks like heaven. And you're a giant mech that looks like it wants to destroy the world, building farms.
Yeah, you look like if you took a 50s car, like a 50s Chevy truck, and like a farm truck, and you turned it into a mech.
Yes. Yep. Yep. It's got
They're so dumpy. I really like them.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the vibe of this trailer looks great. I think it's so funny to have this magical, like, you know, nature world, and you've just got these fucking mechs in it doing farming. It's so funny. It's such a funny thing to me. It's coming next year. I don't know. Like, I don't really have a whole lot more to say about it aside from I think that was a really cool trailer, and I really want to play that game.
It charmed you.
It's like a kind of Slime Rancher vibes a little bit, with less creatures and more just farm.
Yeah, a nice bit of whimsy.
Yeah.
I agree. It's nice seeing a survival game that isn't like dystopian or like it's kind of less about. It's more about the crafting and less about the survival. It's more about the building and the construction.
Yes.
Some like Trailmakers vibes almost.
A little bit, yeah.
Like,
yeah, I can see that.
Except instead of building bigger car or car with more wheels or springs, it's just
mech farming.
Make some rainbow corn.
Yeah.
Make some wheat.
Do you want to talk about Starfield again, or should we just move on to my honorable mention?
No, I don't think we need to talk about Starfield again, unless you got stuff that you didn't feel like you covered.
No, I covered it all. My honorable mention.
Pardon?
My honorable mention is Silk Song. Hollow Knight.
Jeremy,
Silk
why
Song.
is this not in your other picks?
Because
Hollow Knight Silk Song.
Because I know exactly what this is. I have played this game.
Okay.
Right, I have played Hollow Knight.
Okay.
And 2, because like I don't believe it's real yet.
They didn't give it a date or a window or nothing.
There's 2 reasons why I think that. So every game in this conference is coming out in the next 12 months.
Sure, they've said that.
Either that is because... So the reason they didn't give the date on this, either it's because they don't know if they're doing 2022 or 2023 yet.
Okay.
Or maybe...
They don't know if they can make 12 months.
No. See, what I'm thinking is maybe there's a Nintendo Direct in about a week and they shadow drop it.
Ooh.
No, I don't know. I don't have any reason to believe that. But that would be exciting.
Fucking love E3, man. E3 is sick. E3 is so fucking sick, man.
E3 is so dumb.
It's so good.
E3
it's
is...
really good that Silk Song's on Game Pass. It's a good get.
Yes, yeah, it's a good get. I was talking to some people yesterday when I was at the convention, and we were talking about E3, and I was like, "Are you going to stay up?" And they're like, "Probably not. Like I sort of do like I do day work, so like I'm probably not going to be staying up for it." I'm like, fair enough. They're like, "You're going to do it?" I'm like, yeah, probably. You know, might as well try and make something out of it, I guess. And then we were talking, and we just got to the point where we're both just saying, like, E3 is so dumb. Like, I love it. It's like no other industry does this dumb amount of, like, you know, this competing for, like, less and less oxygen. You know, it's such a
everyone pile on.
It's such a dumb fucking thing to do. But
everyone loves it, right?
So
like,
exciting.
the audience gathers for it, and the publishers, on some level, are trying to fill the vacuum that E3 left. They're not letting it spread out like it did in 2020. Everyone wants, well, not everyone, but like 70% of the industry wanted to be in this 1 week period. And it's been sick.
Yep. Completely agree. It's so funny. So yeah, I'm excited for Silk Song, obviously.
Yep. I don't know if we're gonna play it.
Yeah, you didn't love that game.
I played it for like 50 hours, you know? Like, I thought it was good, and I played it for so long. I don't know why I didn't vibe with it so much, but like, I don't know. It's probably the best Metroidvania I've ever played, but I also bounce off Metroidvanias really quickly.
Yeah, it's probably
the story was really obtuse, and I didn't get a lot of it because I didn't look for it.
It's probably the best
think it's
Metroidvania I've ever played, I guess, as well. Yeah. Between that and Guacamelee.
But like, it kind of gracefully does that in a way that doesn't draw attention to itself. Like, it just is.
Yeah, it's just so refined, right?
Yeah.
It's like
It just is being fantastic.
yeah, it's maybe a perfect video game. It's just like it's quietly just a perfect video game.
Quietly, exactly.
Yeah,
Succinctly.
yeah.
The only other thing I had here as honorable mention was the Forza Horizon 5 DLC announcement.
So good.
It's Hot Wheels again, everybody. They did it in Forza Horizon 3 in Australia, where they gave real cars and put them on like scaled up Hot Wheels tracks.
I'm so excited.
And they're doing it again.
This looks so good. This looks so fucking good.
It looks really good. Like the tracks are way more bendy, and they've got like anti-grav tracks now, so it's kind of more like the Hot Wheels game that came out last year, actually.
Yep.
But it looks so fun. It looks fantastic.
This looks better than the Hot Wheels game that came out last year.
It does look better than that.
And I quite like that game, but this is just unreal.
That said, this is made with Forza. Like,
oh yeah, that's why. Like it's
it's made on Forza's foundation, which has got like hundreds of people on it. I don't think that Hot Wheels game had a huge team.
No, and had loot boxes. Yeah, this I don't know. This just looks so fucking sick, dude.
Yeah, it's just a win. Like the DLC for the last 3 Horizon games. Well, 2 of them now have been Hot Wheels,
and the other one was
but
Lego.
also the Lego DLC they had in 4. Just slam dunk, like you win.
Yeah.
Take your trophy and go home. You've won.
Like we know.
Thank you so much.
We know you're the fun one, and now you're just so happy to lean into it all the time.
Yep.
So
yep. Yeah, and then you've got one last thing written under here, Jeremy.
What did I write?
Koji.
Oh yeah. I've just brought it back to us just because there's no gameplay for that. Kojima Productions.
What if you made a third screen and put Kojima in the middle?
I've got a caller coming in.
And we could look to the side and like, oh yeah.
Yes, caller. Hi, welcome to the show. What's your name and what's your question? Hello everyone. I'm back.
I'm back.
Yeah, I think it's cool to mention that Kojima left, Konami, founded his own studio, got a blank check from PlayStation, which is like, obviously a good match considering that their history together was, the Metal Gear games, they had such a close relationship.
Yeah, they were exclusive until
PC
5.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, and then they made Death Stranding exclusive PlayStation, then came to PC later, PS5 version as well. And then he's like, "What if I just did that again with Xbox? Like, what if we just fucked around and we've got 2 exclusives running.
Yeah,
we've got the PlayStation.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Playing both ends of the court.
That's really fun. Also, this is meant to be like a cloud game, like a heavy.
Yeah, it's like the one thing he mentioned about it, right?
I don't know what that is. I know that he can do some fun stuff sometimes, so I'm curious to see what it is. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just keen to see what that is. It's got a name that apparently got leaked. The fuck is the name? Hang on.
What was it? What was it called? I heard someone mention it. I don't remember off the top of my head. I barely recalled it the first time.
The apparent name of the game is Overdose.
Overdose. That's right.
Apparently.
Overdose on babies. Sam in the chat has helped to correct me, everyone, for those who are stewing away at home trying to remember this along with me, / knew it all along and were screaming at me. But I was thinking the best laid plans of mice and men is the saying. Best laid plans of mice and men.
Right. Yeah.
What a show.
What a show. Good show.
So many other great indies in there. So many other... I love that we didn't have that much crossover, even with the other conference as well. But I like that we didn't have that much crossover here either.
I kind of wanted
There's
some
a lot of
more
good
indies.
stuff.
I kind of wanted... there was no mention of ID at Xbox at all, really.
True, it was very focused, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think that this is going to be the trajectory of this company, considering what they've bought and who they're currently buying.
And who they're competing against.
Yeah, right. Like we've seen, we've started to see the beginning of some of that stuff, right? Like Overwatch was at this conference, right? That is Overwatch and Diablo specifically. These two big Blizzard games were at Xbox's show. The deal hasn't gone through yet, but you can tell that they're already getting chummy.
Yeah. That said, Call of Duty was at Summer Game Fest. You think if they were going to put all their chips in the Xbox basket, they would have had Call of Duty there at least.
Yeah, I suppose.
I feel like that Overwatch announcement wasn't that. I don't know. Maybe this is because me with Overwatch, but
free to play is a pretty big deal.
Meh.
Look, it's what that game needs to be, honestly, at this point, considering I'm watching the Overwatch 2 footage going, this just looks like Overwatch 1. But, that's a big deal. A bunch of people are not going to have to pay $60 for it.
Yeah. I don't know, I'm pretty cold on Overwatch at the end of the day.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, I think they did a fantastic job.
I think so too.
That's about it, everybody. Who knows what we're going to do next week? We knew what we were going to do last week for this week because we were going to talk about this. And then next week, who knows what the hell we're going to talk about? Maybe we'll get into Fortnite build mode next week. Who knows?
Oh, my back!
What was that?
Who said that?
Speak up! Thanks so much for listening, everybody. This was a really fun podcast to record. I'm glad we did this today. I'm glad we don't have to wait another 10 hours to start recording late at night.
Dude, me too.
Maybe I'll go to bed right the fuck now.
So I just want to just quickly preface. Friday morning, 4 o'clock Summer Games Fest. Sorry, Summer Game Fest. I wake up at 3. I stream the Summer Game Fest at 4 until 7 or something. I then go to work.
Go to work.
I work 8 hours. I come home. I upload the VOD to the website. Did all the podcast stuff in between Summer Game Fest and work.
Oh my lord.
Went home, woke up the next day, went to a convention for a day.
For the first time in years.
First time in years. Got home, went to bed, woke up, went to a convention again yesterday. Got home, went to bed, woke up at 2.
Fuck. We've been awake for a whole day already. It's 9:40 in the morning.
Streamed Xbox and half of PC gaming show. And then you're like, this schmo says to me, hey, do you want to record the podcast right now?
Right now.
And it was a good call.
It was a good call, right? I think it was a good call.
I'm poking fun, but it was a good call because what that would have meant otherwise is I either had to go to sleep and wake up and do a podcast, which sounds awful, or stay awake for the whole day and do a podcast, which also sounds awful.
Yeah. And now we could just fucking whatever.
Yeah, I might do some writing.
Mate.
I might see if I can continue this work and do a little bit of writing.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Sam says, holy shit, I hope you get to sleep for days.
I've got a day off tomorrow.
That's pretty good.
I don't have to do anything tomorrow. I mean, I'm getting the podcast tomorrow, but I don't have to do anything tomorrow.
E3's not over. Capcom's happening this week. I feel like there's something else happening in a few days. Or am I just thinking of release dates happening in a few days? Maybe I'm getting things conflated.
No, when's Final Fantasy 7?
Oh, that's what it is. So there's a Final Fantasy VII 25th anniversary celebration stream happening. Yeah, it's either at the end of this week or the end of next week, something like that.
So according to Press Start,
thank you, Press Start.
Yeah,
you guys rock.
Just the best. That might be it for now. Tuesday we got Capcom. Wednesday we got there's the Xbox Bethesda showcase extended Wednesday morning, which would just be more footage of things that we've already seen.
Great. Well, everyone, thanks so much for listening. Like I already said.